I don't know why it's taking so long for this flu to go away, but baby, I feel like I'm just gonna sound like a crypt keeper for a little while longer. Whatever. All right, y'all. So this is gonna be the first part of the intermissions of the series. Like I said, I like taking breaks when I be talking about this type of stuff because no, it no longer affects me. Well, that's a lie. I still get emotional stuff like that because, um, y'all, I'm recapping a lot of shit stuff, and I don't know if you or anybody else. Yes, Martell. Okay. I don't know if anybody or you even have dealt with trauma, but the way I do it mine. Like if I'm not ready to deal with it, I put that shit in the back of my brain so it don't make. Cause I, I can be a very angry person sometimes from just suppressed aggression. So it's just like I'm avoidant sometimes, just so it doesn't affect me emotionally. Anyway, so after these two intermissions, I'm going to just be taking like a little break and then I'll come back. Cool, cool. So I keep getting this question as to why I'm bringing up the lady that I did consider my aunt at one time, and well, technically, she isn't. In relation, she is my quote unquote aunt, but I feel like that title belongs to someone that actually deserves it. She may not care that I took the title away from her. I don't know. I don't speak to her either. And yeah, you're about to understand why. So y'all, the thing like this was what's crazy, me not talking to her, even though I stopped talking to her before I stopped talking to the woman that gave birth to me. um it really hurt, like this whole all this shit hurt, but this really like took a toll on me because it's just like I lie to you not. This is my aunt. I'm gonna refer to her as my aunt for the last time in this video. My aunt was my best friend. I swear to God. Like I'm a Leo. She's an Aquarius. This will, you know how they say those are sister signs. My best friend is an Aquarius, and I love her down. So just imagine, like I love my best friend real bad. So just imagine how much I loved my aunt. Like in the beginning, I remember one of our favorite things to do, like, cause she was a clean freak. She told me she was one of the first people to teach me about hygiene when I was as a lady, and stuff like that, and how so we would shower. She like we would shower, of course, separately. She was not she didn't harm me in that way, but she did make light of my trauma. We'll get to that. Um, yeah, so we would shower, and we would spend time together, watch movies, chill. Like she was like literally like the best aunt that a little girl can have. We would sit there and just like be in our towels because it would just be us girls in the house, and we'd just be singing Whitney Houston. Whitney Houston is our favorite artist. Like with all our hearts looking in the mirror, hair wet, just being girls together. Literally just being girls. So I often think about stuff like that, and it's just that's the part that hurts me because if she didn't turn out to be this person that she was to me, we would probably still be really, 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 really close, really close, really close. Nevertheless, that's not how things turned out to be, and I'm perfectly okay with that now. Um, yeah, so let's get to why I no longer speak to her. So I no longer talk to her because when all the abuse and stuff was going on, I lied to you not. The only person that really had my back on my maternal side was my grandmother. She was full of tough love, so when I be crying and shit like that, my grandmother was, her birthday is July 22nd, okay? She's a Cancer and Leo cuss. So she like, but I want to claim her as a Leo, honorary Leo, because when I tell you, like, she was a nurturer, but she act just like a nigga. Like, okay, you crying, like, so now what? Okay, you cry for 20 minutes. Did that change the situation? Okay, cool. So what we gonna do about it now? That's literally how she was. Like, I'm not gonna say she wasn't emotional, like, but she was in silent. She was just a soldier, like, just a soldier. Okay, cool. Yeah, you a girl. Okay, you have emotions. Yeah, you gonna cry. But what's next? This is how I just said that. That was her persona. So I miss my girl so much. She passed away 2018. Anyway, So yeah, my grandmother was not the only one that knew about the abuse. Like I said, my whole maternal family knew about the abuse. Um, it was two times that I specifically called my aunt when the beatings were like real bad. I and she never came and got me. Mm-mm, never did. She would literally go her way and be like, yeah, next time she hits you like that, or next time she does this to you, or next time this happens, call me and let me know. I'm gonna come get you right then and there. Never occurred. I did. I held up my part. I held up my part. I held up my part, and she never held up hers. That's why I said, like, after the failed CPS case, it's just like, okay, I'm just gonna grin and bear the shit because I literally cannot call anybody. My grandmother was doing what she. I remember when the lady gave birth to me, stole over $1,500 from me. Literally, I was boohoo crying in my grandmother's kitchen, and she was like, okay, all right, you're done crying. So you make a decent amount of money. So we're gonna find you a room to rent, and push me forward with that. Literally, she was the only one. Yes, Martell. Okay. So, okay, okay. Um. So it's just like, yeah, I held up my end of the bargain when my aunt asked me to call her. She's gonna come get me and save me and rescue me, and I will never have to deal with this again. No. But one thing I will give her credit for is, once again, she knew. She knew the stuff was going on in regards to, like, it wasn't just the abuse. The woman that gave birth to me is probably still to this day committing fraud. Like, she stole my identity from birth, using my social, fucking up my shit. So the one thing I can say that my aunt did correctly, even though I'm sure she knew what was going on from the very beginning and still did nothing about it, is when I was 17, I was over her house. She said, hey, do you know what a credit score is? And I mean, I was graduating high school, so I knew of it, but I didn't know exactly what it was. And she said, yeah, so we're going freecreditreport.com, and we're just going to, I'm going to show you how to check your credit score and tell you what all this means, da 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 da. Mind you, I promise you, she already knew that my social and credit was being used prior. I promise you. Anyway, so we go on the website and I see they have a score. Mind you, I'm not, like, from what you're telling me, I've never done nothing with my name and my social and my credit. So why would it be a score right here? At the time when she still had some common sense, I think it was like in the 700s or something. Like, it was like in the low 700s. But I was still confused because why do I have a score? I didn't do anything. And that's when I found out that the woman who gave birth to me had been using my social security number since I was 3 years old. So I guess I can't even give her credit for that, because if you knew what was going on, you did nothing about it, but you just decided to put me on game when I was older. I I guess I could say thank you for the insight, but you still didn't do nothing about the problem. Anyway, back to the major thing, okay? Because at this time, I can deal with abandonment, I can deal with all this other stuff. So, I can forgive you for that, even though I shouldn't have to, because it should have never occurred. But anyway, the reason why I really closed the book on that chapter of my life with my relationship with her is because we got into a disagreement one day. I have been a homeless teenager, young adult, whatever. Homelessness and me are like this. Okay, I'm happy. I'm no longer in that season of my life. But I was a runaway. It was a lot going on. Da da da. Woo. Long story short, I graduated college school because I was attending school while I was still living in the shelter over there on Second and D Street in Northwest. And I didn't want to stay at the shelter no more because I was tired of the conditions. I asked her if I could come and stay with her for a little bit because I was homeless, but put myself to school by myself, working full time. So it's not like I wouldn't be able to financially contribute. Long story short, she told me no. We got into an argument to where she decided to then say, oh, well, I don't care if your stepfather admitted to doing that to you. I think you seduced him. And I think that's how that happened. You think a child seduced a damn near 40-year-old man to convince him to try to fuck her? Girl, bye. For real.